Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're your shortcut to, well, really getting under the surface of things.
That's right.
And today, we've got something pretty special. It's a mix of cosmic insights and this really rich symbolic story, all from Tarot by High C. Our mission, really, is to look at how these astrological vibes can actually mirror our own inner stuff, and maybe offer chances for real transformation.
Yeah, exactly.
July 20th, Crum 25, the sources talk about this buzzing and electric energy. We want to explore how maybe just being a bit curious on that day could, well, lead somewhere deeper.
It's a fantastic setup for a deep dive. And what I find really compelling is how this material gives us such a powerful way to look at ourselves, especially those, long-running patterns we might have.
Right, the habits we fall into.
Yeah, and it's not just a forecast, is it? It's also this vivid story. It kind of takes these big spiritual ideas and makes them feel, well, tangible, relatable for you listening.
Okay, so let's dive in. The astrology for July 20th, what's the general feel?
Well, the astrology of the day source paints it as light, flexible.
Mentally stimulating?
Exactly. Very much focused on freeing up the mind. There's this sense the universe is nudging us to, think outside the box.
And the moon in Gemini, that plays a big part.
Oh, definitely. It stirs up curiosity, makes us mentally quick, boosts communication, learning.
So good for research, talking to people, writing.
Perfect for all that. Anything that gets the mind working. The sources even mention a kind of light, almost airy way of processing feelings on this day.
Okay, so it sounds like a day to grab onto those aha moments.
Yes, those eureka moments. Lean into that playful invention, welcome that energy that could actually bring those ideas to life.
Interesting.
And if we look a bit closer, the morning astrology, specifically with the Gemini moon, really backs this up.
How so?
Well, first, there's a sextile to Saturn. Now, a sextile usually means a nice, easy opportunity.
Okay.
So this brings some practical wisdom into your morning chats. Then there's another sextile, this time to Neptune.
Which means?
That highlights intuition, especially helpful if you're doing any kind of thinking work, intellectual stuff.
Right.
But maybe the most potent aspect is the trine to Pluto. A trine is really harmonious, powerful.
And that points to?
Mental transformation. It suggests that even, casual conversations could spark these really deep psychological insights.
Wow.
So you see this lovely flow between structure, intuition, and transformation. It all supports that idea that just being curious can genuinely lead to deep understanding, the kind that really shifts how you see things.
That makes a lot of sense. So the morning sounds like it's just primed for breakthroughs almost, even in simple interactions.
You could say that, yes. The stage is set for mental shifts.
Okay, and that brings us to what seems like a really key alignment for the day, Mars conjunct the South Node.
Yes, that's a big one.
Now, the South Node, that's usually about old patterns, karmic stuff we need to release, right?
Exactly. Things we've carried perhaps for a long time, maybe even lifetimes, according to some views.
And the source says this isn't just about, like, what you did last week.
No, it's much bigger. It focuses attention on those longer-term patterns, the deep-seated qualities and behaviors we're really being asked to consciously leave behind now.
Okay, so what are we talking about specifically? What patterns?
The source is quite direct. It points to things like needing control, blaming others, obsessive worrying, and being overly critical.
Those sound familiar.
They often are, and there's a specific warning. Try not to default to old patterns of victimization and blaming, especially if you feel angry or scared.
Easier said than done sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. It requires, and the source uses this phrase, strong intention.
Strong intention to choose what? Different qualities.
Yes. Things like trying to see the bigger picture, letting go of judgment towards yourself, and others really prioritizing spiritual growth, trying to surrender anxiety.
Surrender anxiety to the universe. That's a big ask.
It is, and also freeing the mind, maybe through things like meditation or just honest self-reflection.
It really does sound like it takes conscious effort, like you really have to choose a different response.
That's the core message. It's an active choice against ingrained habits.
Okay. And to help us understand this feeling of Mars conjunct the South Node, the source gives us this story, the Crimson Mirror.
Yes, a really evocative narrative. It helps visualize these abstract concepts.
So where does it take place?
It's set in Velastar, described as a twilight sanctuary between the stars.
Wow.
A place of karmic return. Basically where old cycles come up for review, for resolution. Beings are drawn there, it says, not by choice, but by cycle.
Feels very destined. So who arrives there?
We meet Kael'tor. He's called the Flame Bearer of the Red Path, a warrior type.
Okay.
But he's summoned by Mars, the source says, not to conquer, but to confront.
Confront what?
Himself, essentially. Waiting for him is the South Node, but it's not a person. It's described as a spiraling mirror of shadow and memory, alive and watchful.
A living mirror.
And it whispered in forgotten languages, telling tales of his past lives. But here's the key part. The mirror did not punish. It reflected.
Reflected what?
It showed Kael'tor all the times he'd ruled with iron will, times he'd spoken in wrath, times he's wielded control as a weapon against his own soul.
Oof, that sounds intense. So it's showing him those exact patterns the astrology warned about. Control, anger.
Precisely. It's a direct illustration.
So Kael'tor sees all this.
Yeah.
What happens next? Is there a shift?
There is a really pivotal moment. His armor, it says, cracked not from weakness, but from awakening.
Awakening. Okay.
And he fell to his knees. But again, the emphasis is not in shame, but in surrender.
That distinction feels really important. Surrender, not defeat.
Exactly. And then this figure appears Lyra, the guide of the unseen realm.
And guide.
Yes. She kneels beside him and says something profound. These patterns are not you, they're echoes.
Echoes.
But, she warns, they feed on your fire when you forget to choose.
Choose what?
Kael'tor asks the same thing. And Lyra replies, choose the higher flame.
Choose the higher flame. That really makes you pause, doesn't it? What could that mean for you, personally, listening right now?
It's a powerful question, and the story's imagery reinforces it beautifully.
What happens really
Where
when
that anger, that controlling fire burned in Kael'tor's heart, suddenly a golden lotus unfolded.
a lotus,
Yeah.
symbol of purity, enlightenment.
Exactly, and he weeps. But again, not from pain, but from release.
Release, like letting go.
And in that release, his vision clears. He sees not a battlefield ahead of him, but a path, narrow, luminous, free of control.
Free of control. There it is again.
It connects straight back to that astrological advice, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Surrender anxiety, prioritize spiritual growth. It's that act of letting go that reveals the new path.
So Kael'tor finds his way forward. How does his story end?
He stands up transformed. No longer a warrior of rage, but a guardian of perspective.
Guardian of perspective. I like that.
Behind him, that mirror, the South Node reflection, it dissolves into stardust. And the gate of Mars, which summoned him, it pulses again, but now with invitation, not command.
So the pressure's off, in a way.
It seems so, and Kael'tor walks on, crucially, not to fight the past, but to bless it and leave it behind.
Bless it. Wow.
And those old patterns, control, anger, blame, they fall away like dead leaves in sacred wind.
What a beautiful image of liberation. Just letting them go.
It really is. And you see how perfectly Kael'tor's journey maps onto the advice for Mars conjunct the South Node.
Absolutely. It's like the story is the lived experience of the astrology.
Exactly. The takeaway is that liberation isn't about wrestling with your past. It's about understanding the echoes, as Lyra said, acknowledging them, maybe even blessing them.
And then choosing that different path.
Choosing the higher flame. And there's this final whisper in the story from the universe. Now begins the true war against illusion, and the victory is peace.
Against illusion. The illusion of control, maybe. The illusion that those patterns are us.
That's certainly one way to interpret it. It really pushes you, the listener, to think, how can you apply these lessons? Releasing judgment, letting go of those old patterns.
Yeah.
How can that lead you towards inner peace?
So wrapping this up,
Huh.
we've really unpacked quite a bit today.
Yeah.
This synergy between the stars on July 20th, 2025, and this incredibly rich story, The Crimson Mirror. It really hammers home that idea, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That starting with just a bit of curiosity, bit of openness,
Yeah.
can actually lead to some pretty profound personal insights and potentially real change.
It absolutely can. And maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Okay.
If that true war is against illusion, and the victory truly is peace, what specific illusions, what old stories about yourself might you be ready to face, to question, and maybe even release on your own journey towards deeper understanding and that inner calm?